2, 1.
I sailed away to China.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Okay, welcome back once again to Chinese Pod, and today we'll continue to provide you with input to allow you to build up a store of comprehension of basic Chinese phrases and expressions. Now, before we proceed with today's lesson, I suggest if you take a couple of minutes, listen to this. This is a review of Lesson 6, the dialogue.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Again.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Okay, the third time.
你会说普通话吗？
我会说一点。你会说英语吗？
英语我不会说。
Okay, now we're going to continue today with simple dialogues discussing understanding, whether you understand or whether you can communicate, allowing you to communicate, to ask if you can understand me and I can understand you, and so on. Now, remember, as usual, we'll start the dialogue in just a minute. But before we do, don't worry if you don't understand this dialogue completely. First of all, you just listen. Maybe 3 times we'll go through it and listen for the sounds. And as usual, after you've listened, then we'll break it down into the meaningful components. Okay, so let's start our dialogue, and once again, Jenny is here today with us. So, Jenny, could you start the ball rolling, please?
Sure. 普通话，你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Again.
普通话，你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Again.
普通话，你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Great. All right, now let's break that dialogue down into the various words. Jenny, let's start, please. What's the first word we want to look at today?
懂。
Okay, now, 懂 means to understand.
懂。
Understand.
懂。
Understand. Now, could you give us some examples of how we use that, Jenny?
Certainly. 你懂吗？
Do you understand?
你懂吗？
Do you understand?
你懂吗？
Do you understand?
他懂吗？
Does he understand?
他懂吗？
Does he understand?
他懂吗？
Does he understand? Now, also, there's another way to say 你懂吗, and you can use it in a slightly longer version.
听得懂。
Okay, understand.
听得懂。
Understand.
听得懂。
Understand. Now, You can use that in the same way. 你听得懂吗? Right? It's the same as 你懂吗? Right?
Yeah, but that's 听得懂 is mostly used in language situations because
okay. So if two Chinese people are talking to each other, they both know that they understand the language, so they'll say 你懂吗? That means do you understand, right?
that's right.
But if you say 你听得懂吗? That means it means do you understand the language?
Yeah, because
okay.
听 means hearing, listening.
Okay. But for us, we could use both, right? You could say 你懂吗?
That's right. Yeah.
Or you could say 你听得懂吗?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Now, how do you answer that if you don't? If I say to you 你听得懂吗? How can you answer that?
If you're answering in the negative,
Yep.
that's 不懂.
Okay. I don't understand.
我不懂.
I don't understand.
我不懂.
Good. Now, if you do understand, what do you say?
我懂.
I understand.
我懂.
I understand.
我懂.
I understand.
Very good.
Now, we have some more vocabulary. The verb to sing, what was that one?
唱歌.
唱歌 means to sing.
唱歌.
To sing.
唱歌.
To sing. Next one.
但是.
But.
但是.
But.
但是.
However.
And like in English, 但是 is a very important word.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
It's very, very useful, of course. But or however.
That's where the important part is after
Absolutely.
但是.
Especially in Chinese. And our last word today is
跳舞.
to dance.
跳舞.
To dance.
跳舞.
To dance. Great. Now, let's go through that dialogue again. Jenny will go through it sentence by sentence, and I'll translate it for you. So, please, Jenny.
普通话你听得懂吗?
Do you understand Mandarin?
普通话你听得懂吗?
Do you understand Chinese?
普通话你听得懂吗?
Do you understand Mandarin? And once again, let me mention, you say 普通话 at the beginning. 普通话, remember, means Chinese or Mandarin. So she put that at the beginning. That's common in Chinese. So once again, to say
普通话你听得懂吗?
Great. Okay, next one.
我听得懂一点.
I understand a little bit.
我听得懂一点.
I understand a little bit.
我听得懂一点.
I understand a little bit. Now remember, 一点 means a little, but she could also say 一点点. So she could say,
我听得懂一点点.
Great. Now that means just a little bit. I understand just a little bit. Okay, next one, please, Jenny.
你会说吗?
Can you speak?
你会说吗?
Now, in the context, this means, of course, Chinese. Can you speak?
你会说吗?
Can you speak Chinese?
我不会说.
No, I can't speak.
我不会说.
I can't speak.
我不会说.
I can't speak. And of course, in the context here, it means I can't speak Chinese.
你会唱歌吗?
Can you sing?
你会唱歌吗?
Can you sing?
你会唱歌吗?
Can you sing?
我会唱歌.
I can sing.
我会唱歌.
I can sing.
我会 唱歌，
I can sing,
但是我不会跳舞。
but I can't dance.
但是我不会跳舞。
But I can't dance.
但是我不会跳舞。
But I can't dance. Now, we've included the verb to sing because quite often in China, you'll be asked to go to a karaoke or a
That's
KTV.
right.
You'll be asked to sing, and somebody will ask you that question again.
你会唱歌吗？
Can you sing?
你会唱歌吗？
Can you sing?
So can you sing, Ken?
我不会唱歌。
Oh, really? I'm a little bit better than you. 我会一点。
So you can sing a little bit.
That's right.
我不会唱歌. I can't sing. You don't want to hear my singing, I can promise you. Okay, that's great. Okay, well, that's it again for today's lesson here on Chinese Pod. Let me remind you that you can contact us with your questions, suggestions, or whatever problems you may have just send us an email to ChinesePod@gmail.com. Now, you can also, if you're in the region, you could also call us at a Hong Kong number I'll give you, and it is 852-8192. 7748. I'll say it again, 852-8192-7748. And once again, you can leave us your message and we'll get back to you. And indeed, we can include your requests in the next shows. Okay, so that's it again from our Chinese pod today. To wrap up, as usual, we'll go through our dialogue one time. And so please take it away, Jenny.
普通话你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我不会唱歌，但是我会跳舞。
2, 1. I sail the way to China.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello and welcome once again to Chinese Pod, and today is a historic day for us here on Chinese Pod. We're going to tackle our first story in Chinese, so we're going to look at that story in a moment. Just let me remind you, it's probably a good idea if you take a moment to review the previous lesson, which was level 7. So we'll just go briefly through that dialogue right now.
普通话你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Again.
普通话你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Again.
普通话你听得懂吗？
我听得懂一点。
你会说吗？
我不会说。
你会唱歌吗？
我会唱歌，但是我不会跳舞。Okay, Now, let's push on today's. This is the first story we've done in our lessons, and it's based on the vocabulary that we've learned, and there will be one or two more words thrown in there. Jenny's going to read the story for you. Now, as you listen, don't worry too much about the meaning. Again, listen for the sounds, relax, and we'll break it down for you in just a moment. All right, so Jenny, could you tell us our first story, please?
Sure. I am as excited as all of you
Oh,
are.
great.
李先生不是美国人，他是英国人。他不会讲普通话，但是他听得懂。他今天在办公室，他很忙。他昨天在家，他昨天不忙。
Great story there, Jenny. Excellent. Now let's look at this. Is a story about a Mr. Lee and some of the things he's doing today and yesterday. Let's go through the story at the sentence level now. Sentence by sentence, we'll translate them for you.
李先生不是美国人。
Mr. Lee is not American.
李先生不是美国人。
Mr. Lee is not American.
李先生不是美国人。
Mr. Lee is not American. Now, let me just remind you, 人 means person. 美国人 means American person. 英国人 means English person. And 中国人 means Chinese person. So that's 人. Okay, second sentence, please.
他是英国人。
There we have it. He's English. He is an English person.
他是英国人。
He's English.
他是英国人。
He's English.
他不会讲普通话。
He can't speak Mandarin.
他不会讲普通话。
He can't speak Mandarin.
他不会讲普通话。
He can't speak Mandarin. Now, in this case, we use the verb 讲, and you can also say 说. So you could say,
他不会说普通话。
okay, so you can say 他不会说, or you can say 他不会讲. It's the same.
但是他听得懂。
However, he understands it.
但是他听得懂。
But he understands it.
但是他听得懂。
But he understands it.
他今天在办公室。
Today, he's at the office.
他今天在办公室。
He's in the office today.
他今天在办公室。
Today he's in the office. Now you may recall 今天 is a word we had in a previous lesson. 今天 means today. So today he's in the office.
他很忙。
He's very busy.
他很忙。
He's very busy.
他很忙。
He's really busy.
他昨天在家。
He was at home yesterday.
他昨天在家。
He spent the day at home yesterday.
他昨天在家。
He was at home yesterday.
他昨天不忙。
He wasn't busy yesterday.
他昨天不忙。
He wasn't busy yesterday.
他昨天不忙。
He wasn't busy yesterday. Okay, excellent. Now let's push on and we'll break it down, that little story, at the word level, at the vocabulary level. Now, the first word we had is...
在
Now, 在 means to be somewhere, to be present somewhere. Not in the sense of existing, but in the sense of being somewhere. So,
在
to be,
在
to be. Now, you can say, not here. Somebody's not present.
不在
Not here.
不在
Not here.
不在
Now, normally when the teacher comes to class, she'll call your name, and if you're here, of course, you say,
在
and if you're not here, you say,
不在
well, somebody might say it for you, okay. Now, another sentence we can use is, another phrase we can use is,
在不在
good, here or not here.
在不在
Okay, so you can say, are you here or not?
你在不在
Okay. Now, it can be used as there. If you call somebody on the phone, you can ask, is he there?
他在不在
Is he there?
他在不在
Is he present?
他在不在
Okay. Now, another very, very useful word, of course, is the word for here, in this place.
这里
Here,
这里
here.
这里
Now, he's here.
他在这里
He's here.
他在这里
He's here.
他在这里
Okay. Now, maybe you go to your friend's house, the apartment. You knock on the door. You wanna know, is he inside? You say,
你在吗
good. Are you home?
你在吗
Are you here?
你在吗
Good. Now, the next vocabulary item we have is office. The office.
办公室
The office.
办公室
Office.
办公室
The office. Now, maybe we can make some sentences using the office. So, Jenny, please.
我去办公室
I'm going to the office.
我去办公室
I'm going to the office.
我去办公室
I'm going to the office.
他去办公室
He's going to the office.
他去办公室
He's going to the office.
他去办公室
He's going to the office.
我在办公室
I'm in the office.
我在办公室
I'm in the office.
我在办公室
I'm in the office.
他不在办公室
He's not in the office.
他不在办公室
He's not in the office.
他不在办公室
He's not in the office. Great. Now we have another word. The next word is
家
家means family or it means home. In this case, it means home.
家
Home.
家
Home. Now, you can say he's at home.
他在家
He's at home.
他在家
He's at home.
他在家
I'm at home.
我在家
I'm at home.
我在家
I'm at home.
我在家
Are you at home?
你在不在家
Are you at home?
你在不在家
Are you at home?
你在不在家
Is he at home today?
他今天在不在家
Is he at home today?
他 今天在不在家？
Is he at home today?
他今天在不在家？
And one more phrase. I'm going home.
我回家。
He's going home.
他回家。
She's going home.
他回家。
We're going home.
我们回家。
Everybody's going home.
大家回家。
Okay, that's great. Okay, now, I think, Jenny, could you tell us that little story again? We'll review all of that and we'll listen to that fabulous story one more time. Thanks, Jenny.
About Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee, yeah.
Okay, let's roll it. 李先生不是美国人，他是英国人。他不会讲普通话，但是他听得懂。他今天在办公室，他很忙。他昨天在家，他昨天不忙。
Great, well done. Okay, so that's it. Another lesson here on Chinese Pod. That was lesson 8. Don't forget, you can get a lot more information if you go to www.chinesepod.com. And you're more than welcome also to send us your questions and your suggestions by email to chinesepod@gmail.com. Okay, that's it for today, and we'll see you next time for lesson 9.
Bye.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sail the way to China.
Y'all gon' learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Okay, and welcome once again back to Chinese Pod. We're providing you with basics in Chinese for anybody who wants to come to visit Chinese or indeed do business in China. We'll give you the basics to help you to understand what's going on around you and to communicate on a basic level. All our input, of course, is very practical, very useful. No theory, no grammar, just a useful input. Now, before we continue with our lesson today, I suggest that we listen one time to the last lesson, lesson 8, where we had a rather interesting story told by Miss Jenny Zhu. So let's listen to that one time, and we'll be back in just a moment.
李先生不是美国人，他是英国人。他不会讲普通话，但是他听得懂。他今天在办公室，他很忙。他昨天在家，他昨天不忙。
Okay, so let's push on now with lesson 9, today's lesson, and we have a dialogue, and this takes place in a store, and it's basic language you'll need for buying something in a department store or whatever. Now, we're going to do the dialogue for you 3 times, as usual, and what I suggest is don't worry too much about the comprehension. As ever, most of these dialogues are based on previous lessons. We won't throw in too many new words. But this one today has a couple of new words. But don't worry too much if you don't get the idea. Just listen to it 3 times. And of course, as usual, we'll break it down for you and help you to understand it after that. Okay, so take it away, please, Jenny.
你好，你想买什么？
我想买笔，有没有？
对不起，我没有笔。
没关系。Again.
你好，你想买什么？
我想买笔，有没有？
对不起，我没有笔。
没关系。Third time.
你好，你想买什么？
我想买笔，有没有？
对不起，我没有笔。
没关系。Okay, good. Now, some really, really key words in there. So let's take a look at that dialogue at the sentence level. So please, Jenny.
你好，你想买什么？
So, hi, how are you? What would you like to buy?
你好，你想买什么？
Hi, hello. What would you like to buy?
你好，你想买什么？
Hi, what would you like to buy? Now, when you go to a store, the people working in the store will say this sentence, 你想买什么? This means, what would you like to buy? It's the equivalent of saying, can I help you? Or what could I do for you? Okay, next sentence, please.
我想买笔，有没有？
Okay, now, I'd like to buy a pen. Do you have any?
我想买笔，有没有？
I'd like to buy a pen. Do you have any?
我想买笔，有没有？
I'd like to buy a pen. Do you have any?
对不起，我没有笔。
I'm sorry. I don't have any pens.
对不起，我没有笔。
Sorry, I don't have any pens.
对不起，我没有笔。
Sorry, I don't have any pens.
没关系，
That's okay.
没关系，
That's okay.
没关系。
That's okay. All right, now we need to drill down a little bit more into these vocabulary items. Jenny, please.
想，
Xiang means to want or to wish for something.
想，
To want.
想，
To want.
买，
To buy something.
买，
To buy.
买。
To buy. Now, there's a very common phrase, to buy something, and that is
买东西，
to buy something.
买东西，
To buy something.
买东西。
Now, 东西 is a very important word. It's very, very common. It means thing. So we'll repeat that for you.
东西，
A thing.
东西，
Something.
东西。
A thing.
卖，
Mai means to sell something.
卖，
To sell.
卖。
To sell. Now, let's take a look. There's a difference in the tones here between buy and sell. Jenny, could you give us the two sounds, buy and sell?
Sure, I will do. To buy is 买 and to sell is 卖，买，卖，买，卖。
Okay, that's good. That's important, right? The difference in the tone there is my and my.
That's right.
Okay, let's continue.
什么
What?
什么
What thing?
什么
What? So in this case, the lady asked, what would you like to buy? She said,
你要买什么
okay, so 买什么 means buy what? What would you like to buy?
Yeah. And 什么 is very commonly used as a general question. Like in English, you say what if you didn't hear the people.
Good.
before.
So if somebody says something you didn't understand, you'd say,
什么
什么?
It's like pardon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, next word we had was for pen, the word for pen.
笔
Pen.
笔
Pen.
笔
After that, we had the word for sorry.
对不起
Sorry.
对不起
I'm sorry.
对不起
Now, that obviously is a very common expression. You'll hear it if you bump into somebody or you do something wrong, you make a mistake. It's very, very common. Maybe one more time, Jenny, please.
对不起
Now, here's another extremely common, and in the past was even more common. When you went to a store, you wanted to buy something, the lady would often say,
没有
Mayo means no, we don't have, or nothing.
Such a disappointment for the buyer.
It can be. So again, please, Jenny.
没有
Nothing,
没有
or I don't have. Now, if somebody says to me, for example, do you have a pen?
你有没有笔
Okay. Do you have a pen?
你有没有笔
Do you have a pen?
你有没有笔
No.
我没有
No, I don't.
我没有
No, I don't.
我没有
Okay, very, very useful expression there. Now, there's another one that is very, very commonly used, and that is
没关系
good. Now, 没关系 means that's okay, that doesn't matter.
没关系
That's okay,
没关系
that's okay. Now, these are really crucial sentences we've had today. These are absolute the basics of day-to-day conversation. Now, why don't we go through the dialogue again one more time, Jenny?
你好你想买什么
我想买笔，有没有？
对不起我没有笔
没关系. Now, I think we'll do that again, right? So, in the store again, one more time.
你好你想买什么
我想买笔，有没有？
对不起我没有笔
没关系. So this phrase, 有没有, is very, very common. Maybe something you can't find it and you need to borrow a pen or a book. You ask somebody, 有没有? Very, very common. All right, now that's some key stuff we've had here today on Lesson 9 here on Chinese Pod. We'll continue with the next lesson. We'll give you more examples how to use these crucially important phrases and expressions. Don't forget that you are more than welcome to send us your suggestions or questions or queries or problems to the ChinesePod@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. All right, so that's great. And that's it for today, I believe. And I think we should say goodbye and 再见.
再见
再见. We'll see you next time. Take care.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China.
Y'all gon' learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Okay, hello there. This is Chinese Pod, bringing you the basics in the Chinese language from right here in Shanghai, China. And I want to take a few minutes now to go through the 4 tones in Chinese. Let me tell you something about the 4 tones. You've got to know the 4 tones. It's difficult to produce the 4 different tones in Chinese. That'll take some time, so don't worry about that, especially in spontaneous conversation. That is one of the most challenging things in Mandarin, to learn Mandarin very well. But what we can do today is, in the next 5 minutes, we'll help you to recognize those 4 tones. Now, just 1 or 2 little things I want to tell you. The tones are crucial because the tones change the meaning of the words. Now, in English, the meaning of a word does not change according to the tone. You can add emphasis by changing the tone. You can stress things by changing the tone. But a word like house, for example, doesn't change. You say house, 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 house. The tone of that will never change. Maybe you can convey your feeling about the house, but the word doesn't change in its meaning. Now, Chinese is different. So take any syllable, any word, and change the tones, and you completely change the meaning. Now, that's why it is so important, initially, certainly to be able to recognize those tones, and secondly, at a slightly later point, when you want to produce sentences, you've got to get the tones right. Now, in a moment, I'll give you a little story about that, but let me give you an example of a syllable, the word tea. And if you say the 4 tones in tea are
T, 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 T.
Now, the 4, they might sound the same to a Westerner, to an English speaker, but those 4 sounds have 4 completely different meanings. Now, the first tone, which is
T,
essentially means to kick something. The second tone, which is
T,
that means to ask something. The third one means
T,
T means body, okay? And the fourth T
T.
means to change, right? So you can think of the level of confusion that you may run into if you get those tones wrong. For example, you want to say the first one, you want to kick someone, but you actually use the 4th tone, and that means you want to change someone. Okay, now that's just, we'll give you a story in a moment that will help you to understand, again, a little bit more about that. But what we can do now for the next few minutes, we can just practice rehearsing the 4 tones. Now, what I suggest is you do this at home. I took my first Chinese lessons some years ago, and they weren't particularly successful, as you can probably hear. But the one thing I did learn from my early lessons was the importance of the tones. And it is possible to learn to recognize them very quickly. Within the next 5 minutes, you will recognize the 4 tones in Chinese. So Jenny's going to lead the way, and I'm going to repeat, and you can repeat too and practice at home until you get those 4 sounds down. Okay, Jenny, please.
Ba, 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 ba.
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 You see, it's actually quite fun. It's like a musical lesson, isn't it?
How about another syllable, okay?
Okay, let's try another one. Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 五五五
Wu, 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 wu.
腰摇摇要
Yao, 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 yao.
腰摇摇要
Yao, 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 yao.
腰摇摇要
Yao, 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 yao. Great. Maybe we could try a little bit faster now. I'm going to bow out right now because I'm getting really tired doing my tones here. If you want to try a little bit faster, a couple more syllables, Jenny, and that should be really helpful.
Yep. Let's see. Which one do I try? 加夹甲架加夹甲架加夹甲架 And let's try another common one. 我我我我我我我我 And the final one. 七起起气七起起气 Last one. 七起起气 I hope you're not feeling too repetitive or stupid doing that.
No, that's it. The way to get the four tones is definitely to repeat them over and over. Normally, our approach to learning Chinese, to teaching Chinese, we don't really rely on a whole lot of repetition. But the tones are something that you've got to do. That you've got to keep that repeating, and you'll get it. So practice that for 10 minutes at home, and you'll have the four sounds. Let me give you one little story, and it helps you to understand, I think, the background on this. One time a professor told me to think of, it was an English professor, think of an office, okay? And maybe the lady who brings in the tea or whatever. This might sound a little bit sexist, I don't know, but it's a lady brings in the tea. She pushes in the trolley and she says, okay, she's going to ask busy people in the office, do you want some tea? And she actually uses the four tones. Now, we're in England. She's speaking English, of course. But the first time she says to them, she says, tea. And she's saying, basically, does anybody want any tea? Nobody responds. And so she gets a little bit, upset. And she goes, second time she says, tea. And that is similar, my pronunciation. Not perfect there, but it's a little bit similar to the second tone.
So it's still silence?
It's still silent. Yeah, nobody's going for the tea. So the third time she says tea, which is like the third tone in Chinese. Still nobody responds. And the fourth time she asks, she's getting angry and she goes, tea.
Wow.
Right, so you have the T, 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 T. Now, in English, as you see, she's still talking about a cup of tea. She's still talking about tea. So the meaning doesn't change in English, change the tone. Only the emphasis changes, so she goes from nonchalant to angry, I think, at the end of it. But in Chinese, of course, if you change those four tones, you have four completely different words.
Yeah, and important thing, like Ken said, don't be put off by these four tones. Yeah, don't think, it's too scary or so.
Yeah.
The best thing is you can just practice them with different syllables, whichever you're most comfortable with.
Absolutely. In fact, you can practice them with any syllables. You can choose English words. It doesn't really matter, just to get the tones, the four tones. So let's go through just one or two more examples of the four tones for today's lesson.
Let's do the musical one, shall we?
Fine.
Ba, 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 ba.
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 Ba, ba, ba,
Let's try with another one. 乌无五物
Wu, 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 wu.
乌无五物
Wu, 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 wu.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. That's some good practice. Again, as I said, just keep practicing at home. You'll get the 4 tones down. You'll be able to recognize them then, and you'll be able to produce them when we're in conversations where you have time to think about it. But natural productions of the 4 tones, that'll take some time. Don't worry about that. So practice with those at home and get your 4 tones down. And if you have any other tips and suggestions or queries, you can Gmail us at ChinesePod at gmail.com. So that's it. That's our input on the 4 tones in Mandarin Chinese for today. And come back and see us later.
Thank you for your company. Bye.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed away to China.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello and welcome once again to Chinese Pod, and we're here as ever giving you the basics of Chinese listening, basic vocabulary, the input you'll need to start grasping spoken Chinese as it is spoken right here in Shanghai, China. Now, today's lesson, we're going to focus on something that's very important in China, which is eating. Now, today's dialogue is set in a restaurant. It's very simple. It's very, very basic. And it will give you the keywords that you need to function in a restaurant. Now, as you listen to the dialogue, right now, you don't need to worry too much about the meaning. Please listen to the sound, listen to the flow of the language, and we'll break down the meanings for you in just a moment, and then we'll repeat it for you, so to make sure you get the idea. Okay, so we're in a restaurant, waiter and customer, and as ever, Jenny is here to lead the way. So, Jenny, please.
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面，
好的，等一下。
谢谢。
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面，
好的，等一下。
谢谢。
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面，
好的，等一下。
谢谢。Okay, now that was our restaurant dialogue. Let's start to break it down a little bit and look at the words. So the first new word in the dialogue, Jenny, was what?
吃
Okay, now 吃 means eat.
吃
To eat.
吃
To eat.
吃什么？
Eat what?
吃什么？
Eat what?
吃什么？
Eat what? Now remember, 什么 is used as a question. 什么 means what. So 吃什么 means eat what.
吃面
Okay, 面 means noodles.
面
Noodles.
面。
Noodles.
好的，
Okay,
好的，
fine.
好的。
No problem. 好的 can have all of those meanings. When you're in agreement with somebody asks you to do something, you just say 好的. That means fine, I agree.
等一下，
Wait a moment.
等一下，
Wait a second.
等一下。
wait a moment. Now, 等一下 is very, very commonly used. You'll hear it everywhere. Whenever you want to just say, get somebody to hang on a second, you just say 等一下.
好吗?
Now, we had this before. This is making questions. So when you put 等一下 and 好吗 together, you get
等一下好吗?
Could you wait a second?
等一下好吗?
Please wait a moment.
等一下好吗?
Please wait. Now, when you put 好吗 at the end, it sounds more polite. You could say 等一下, but it's the equivalent of just saying wait. But if you say 等一下好吗, that means please wait or could you wait. It's more polite. Now, let's drill down a little bit more into those sentences in the restaurant dialogue. So Jenny will read each of the sentences, and I'll go through the explanations for you.
先生，你想吃什么？
What would you like to eat, sir?
先生，你想吃什么？
What would you like to eat, sir?
先生，你想吃什么？
What would you like to eat, sir? Now, let's look at this for a second. The word 先生 we had before. That means Mr. or Sir. When you're addressing someone, it means Sir. Now, it's common to use that at the beginning of the sentence. So the sentence was
先生，你想吃什么？
So literally, that means, Sir, what do you think you'd like to eat? So, what would you like to eat, sir?
我想吃面。
I'd like to eat noodles.
我想吃面。
I'll have the noodles.
我想吃面。
I'll have the noodles. Now, 我想 here means I'd like to or I want, but it's a polite way to say. And he says, 我想吃面. I'd like to have the noodles.
好的，等一下。
Okay, just a second.
好的，等一下。
Okay, 好的 means okay. 等一下 means just a second.
好的，等一下。
Okay, just a moment.
谢谢，
Thanks.
谢谢，
Thanks.
谢谢。
Thanks. Now, you can also say 谢谢你, which is even more polite. So,
谢谢你。
okay, good. Now, I think we have the meanings quite clear there. Maybe we'll just read the dialogue again one time. I'll read the dialogue again one time with Jenny to review what we've learned.
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面。
好的，等一下。
谢谢. Great. Now, let's expand a little bit from that basic dialogue and let's use some new words. We have some new ones from Jenny. Could you lead, please?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot to order in a restaurant.
There sure
a lot
is.
to eat. And the most common one in China is 饭.
Okay, now, 饭 literally means rice, white rice.
饭,
Rice.
饭.
Now, that is the fourth tone. 饭, 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 饭. Now, that's rice. 吃饭.
吃饭 means...
Okay, 吃饭 can mean to eat, generally. When you
Yes, that's
say,
right.
generally, it means to eat. But it can also mean to eat rice.
It really depends on the context. You
Yes.
have to judge that for yourself.
Yeah, so give us an example of where it means to eat and where it means to eat rice, Jenny, please.
For example, it's a meal time and you're suggesting to your friends, 我们吃饭. It simply means let's go have a meal.
Okay,
right? Have
good.
Something to eat.
Yeah.
But if you're in a restaurant or you're
Yes.
with your family, they ask you, would you like some rice?
Yes.
They would say, 你想吃饭吗? And because you have the context of people actually offering you rice.
Especially if she's holding a bowl of rice in
Yes,
her hand
you
and she says...
you automatically know
That's
what
right.
she's referring.
So 吃饭 can mean to eat generally, or it can mean specifically to eat rice, and that depends on the context. Could you just repeat that again, please?
吃饭.
吃饭. So that's first tone and fourth tone,
Yes.
right?
吃饭. The next one is 肉.
Ro. Now, fourth tone. Ro generally means meat, but it can also specifically mean pork. But for now, let's treat it as meaning meat. So that's
肉.
ro means meat.
As you said, it in general means meat. So when we talk about other kinds of meat,
Yes.
we normally put 肉 with the specific animal.
Okay.
Like this one.
Yeah.
牛肉.
牛肉 is beef.
So literally in Chinese means cow's meat.
Oh. So cow, how do you say cow?
牛
And meat?
肉.
So beef is
牛肉.
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 Beef. Good.
And next one we have 鸡肉.
Chicken.
鸡肉.
Chicken.
鸡肉.
Chicken. Now let's look at that again. As you know, ro means meat. So ji means chicken. So the word again is
鸡肉.
chicken.
鸡肉.
Chicken.
And as we said earlier, 肉 can mean pork.
Yeah.
Now we're going to teach you the specific term of
Okay.
pork, which is 猪肉.
Pork.
猪肉.
Pork.
猪肉.
Pork. Now, 猪 means pig
Yeah.
in this. Okay, and that's first tone, right?
Yes.
So, again, let's go through those. So, beef.
牛肉. 牛肉. 牛肉.
Chicken.
鸡肉. 鸡肉. 鸡肉.
Pork.
猪肉. 猪肉. 猪肉.
Okay, great. Well done. Now, I think what we should do is maybe review the lesson for today. We introduced some new food words there for meat and so on, and I think in our next dialogue we'll expand on those for you and give you more chance to listen to them. So let's review our lesson today. We've had restaurants, we've had basic dialogues for ordering food in a restaurant, and let's go through the dialogue again for you, the dialogue we began with.
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面。
好的，等一下。
谢谢。Now, don't forget, you can go to www.chinesepod.com. Send us your feedback and your suggestions. You can also sign up there and get the full online service with the Personal Learning Center. The texts are there, the listenings are there. You can get a lot more stuff on this here. So, yeah, you got time, go to ChinesePod and check it out. That's all for today. We'll see you again for the next lesson.
Bye-bye.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello and welcome back to Chinese Pod. This is lesson 12 in our basic introduction to the Chinese language, coming to you from Shanghai in China. Now, in a moment, we're going to have our dialogue for this lesson. And before we do, I do recommend that you go back and briefly review the previous lesson, lesson 11, and just please take a moment or two to listen to that.
先生，你想吃什么？
我想吃面。
好的，等一下。
谢谢. Okay, good. Now, let's have today's lesson. And there isn't a whole lot of new vocabulary in this lesson. We don't want to give you too many new words, but what we want to do is to build up on some of the patterns from previous lessons. Now, this dialogue could take place in a restaurant or at home in the kitchen or somebody or the dining room, two people talking about food. Now, don't worry too much. You should know a lot of the words from previous lessons, but don't worry too much if you don't get the meaning on the first listening. So just listen and later we'll break it down for you and help you to get it. So let's start our lesson 12 dialogue. Jenny, please.
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。Good. Now, let's look. There are a couple of new words in there. Let's take a look at what those new words are. Jenny, please.
I think the first one actually is 在.
Okay.
But we have learned that 在means
to be at a place, right? Now, in this form, it also is used like a present continuous tense, as in what. In this case, if you say 你在吃什么, it means what are you eating?
Yeah, so 在 grammatically indicates
a continuous tense, a present continuous tense. That's right. So maybe we could repeat that a couple of times, please.
在 And the next one we had was 水果
Fruit.
水果
Fruit.
水果
Fruit.
好吃
Does it taste good?
好吃
Is it good?
好吃
Tasty?
Yes.
Literally, 好吃 means good eat. Right? 好吃 means good eat, means it tastes good, it's delicious, it's tasty.
And of course we can have 不好吃
It's not good.
不好吃
It doesn't taste good.
不好吃
I don't like it. Now remember, 不 is the negative. So 好吃 means yes, it's good, it tastes good. 不好吃 means no, I don't like it. It
Yuck,
doesn't taste good. It's yucky. Okay, now let's go through that dialogue at the sentence level. So Jenny, will you go through each sentence and we'll give the translation?
Certainly. 你在吃什么？
What are you eating?
你在吃什么？
What are you eating?
你在吃什么？
What are you eating? Now, that's a very important construction, and we'll be looking at that again. So, 你在吃什么? The 在 adds the present continuous form to it. So, essentially, it means 你在吃什么 means what are you eating?
Yeah, always put 在 before your verb. 我在吃水果。
I'm eating fruit.
我在吃水果。
I'm eating fruit.
我在吃水果。
I'm eating fruit.
好吃吗？
Is it good?
好吃吗？
Does it taste good?
好吃吗？
Do you like it?
好吃，
It's good.
好吃，
Tastes good.
好吃。
It's delicious. Now, let's spin off. Let's expand a little bit on this basic dialogue, and we'll put in some substitutions. Okay, so let's try that same dialogue, and we'll change from 水果, which is fruit, to some other words. So let's start off with that, please.
你在吃什么？
我在吃饭。
好吃吗？
好吃。Now, we varied the sentences there. So it was this time, what are you eating? I'm eating rice or I'm eating food. How is it? It's good. Now let's change from 饭, same dialogue, let's change to 牛肉, which is beef.
你在吃什么？
我在吃牛肉。
好吃吗？
好吃。
And shall we change that again to another word?
Let's try with chicken, 鸡肉。
你在吃什么？
我在吃鸡肉。
好吃吗？
好吃。
Okay, Ken, so you've been in China for how long?
Quite a long time, 11 years.
So, do you like Chinese food?
Yes, I do. I've been eating too much of it for too long and getting too much 鸡肉, too much 牛肉.
So you're a meat lover. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Don't know about you guys, but with all the words we've been teaching you.
Yeah.
You can say a lot
Absolutely.
about that.
Well, I have no problem in restaurants ordering food, that's for sure. Okay, good. Now let's just, maybe we could review that simple dialogue again. Once more from the top, please, Jenny.
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。Good. Now, we'll expand on these in the next lessons. That's more or less it for today. Please, if you want to know more, you can go to ChinesePod.com. You can sign up there. You can use your own personal learning center, get lots more feedback. There's a blog, the whole thing. So why not sign up at ChinesePod, and good luck with your Chinese studies. We'll see you for the next lesson. So it's time to say 再见.
再见, everyone.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I sailed the way to China.
Y'all gonna learn Chinese.
Hi, I'm Ken Carroll.
你好，我叫 Jenny 朱。
www.chinesepod.com.
你会说中文吗？
This is Chinese Pod.
这是博客中国。
Hello and welcome back to Chinese Pod, bringing you basic Chinese listening exercises right here from Shanghai in China. Now we're going to have a story today. I believe this is our second story. This is lesson 13. Before we get into the story, let's just review our previous lesson. So take a listen to this for just a couple of minutes.
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。
你在吃什么？
我在吃水果。
好吃吗？
好吃。Okay, now we're going to have a story. Jenny's going to read the story about a Miss Lee, and Jenny's going to tell us more about this young Miss Lee. Most of the words in this story we will have met in the past. So it's basic stuff. You may get most of the meaning, but either way, Jenny will read it once. Don't worry too much about the meaning. We'll go through it sentence by sentence in just a moment. So, Jenny, please, could you tell us today's story, please?
李小姐是英国人，她会说普通话，她喜欢吃面，她不喜欢吃肉。陈小姐不喜欢吃面，她喜欢吃肉。陈小姐喜欢喝果汁，但是她不喜欢喝酒。李小姐喜欢喝酒。
Okay, let's look at the story now at a sentence level. Jenny will read the sentence and I'll translate it. So, please, Jenny.
李小姐是英国人，
Miss Lee is English.
她会说普通话，
She can speak Mandarin.
她喜欢吃面，
She likes to eat noodles.
她 不喜欢吃肉。
She doesn't like to eat meat.
陈小姐不喜欢吃面。
Miss Chen doesn't like to eat noodles.
她很喜欢吃鸡肉。
She really likes to eat chicken.
陈小姐喜欢喝果汁，
Miss Chen likes to drink juice.
但是她不喜欢喝酒。
But she doesn't like to drink alcohol.
李小姐喜欢喝酒。
Miss Lee likes to drink alcohol.
Okay, so this story really is a good review of the past
That's
few
right.
lessons,
This is based on a review of a lot of the key words, but there's also some new words in that story. So let's look first at the new words we had in that story. So Jenny, please.
喝
To drink.
喝
To drink.
喝
To drink.
喝水
To drink water.
水
Water.
水
Water.
酒
Alcohol.
酒
Alcohol.
喝酒
To drink alcohol.
果汁
Juice.
果汁
Juice.
喝果汁
Drink juice.
So those words are all related to drinking.
That's right.
Different kinds
Maybe
of
we could
drinks.
go through those again. Drinking water, drinking alcohol, and drinking juice again. Could you go through those three for us again, please?
Sure. 喝水
To drink water.
喝酒
To drink alcohol.
喝果汁
To drink juice. Now, I think we should go through some of the other vocabulary in that story. We've had it in previous lessons, but we're using it slightly differently in this vocabulary today. So let's go through the other key words in the story. Then we'll repeat the story for you again in just a couple of moments.
小姐
Miss.
小姐
Miss.
小姐
Young woman.
英国人
An English person.
英国人
An English person.
英国人
An English person.
普通话
Mandarin.
普通话
Mandarin.
普通话
The standard Chinese language.
说
To speak.
说
To speak.
说
To speak.
喜欢
To like.
喜欢
To like.
喜欢
To like.
吃
To eat.
吃
To eat.
吃
To eat.
面
Noodles.
面
Noodles.
面
Noodles.
肉
Meat.
肉
Meat.
肉
Meat.
但是
But.
但是
However.
但是
But.
Okay, so those were the key words.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been learning.
That's great. Maybe we could do a little bit more practice with some of those words, Jenny, right? Let's take Xiao Jie. So what's your name in Chinese,
My
Jen?
surname is Zhu.
So how do we call you? Zhu Xiao Jie.
That's correct.
Zhu Xiao Jie.
朱小姐
And your dad, what would we call him?
朱先生
Zhu Shensheng, Mr. Zhu.
Yes.
Good. Now, 英国人 means English person.
Yes.
How do you say American person?
美国人
American person.
美国人
Chinese person.
中国人
Chinese person.
中国人
Now we had 说 or 说话. If you want to tell somebody, please, to speak up, 你说话, can we say that?
你说话 to speak up.
Okay, fine. And 普通话 means Mandarin. So how do you say to speak Mandarin?
说普通话
To speak Mandarin.
说普通话 Dialogue we had, or in the story we had the word 会 that means can. Yeah,
To be
ability.
able to. Yeah.
会说 means can speak.
So 会说 means to be able to speak. Now, how to say to be able to speak Mandarin?
会说普通话
Again, please.
会说普通话
Now, if you want to make a question, you want to ask somebody, how do you do that?
你会说普通话吗？
Can you speak Mandarin?
你会说普通话吗？
Can you speak Mandarin?
Very good.
And the last one we had, 吃, we had some variations on to eat noodles.
吃面
To eat noodles.
吃面
To eat rice.
吃饭
To eat rice.
吃饭
To eat meat.
吃肉
To eat meat.
吃肉
Very good. Now, let's have that story one more time. Let's listen to the story about Miss Lee and Miss Chen, what they do and don't like. So, Jenny, please.
李小姐是英国人，她会说普通话，她喜欢吃面，她不喜欢吃肉。陈小姐不喜欢吃面，她很喜欢吃鸡肉。陈小姐喜欢喝果汁，但是她不喜欢喝酒。李小姐喜欢喝酒。
Great. So that's our story and that's our lesson for today. Don't forget, you can go to ChinesePod.com to sign up for the full service with an interactive personal learning center, the transcripts, vocabulary builders, and so on. You're also more than welcome at any time to send us your suggestions, tips, questions, problems to our blog, or indeed by sending to email to ChinesePod@gmail.com. So that's it for today, lesson 13. We'll see you again very soon and we'll keep practicing our Chinese. So from Shanghai, it's goodbye and 再见.
再见。